Are we in the right meeting?
Hey Neb, how are you
Oh, it's
tonight?
not from this year.
Doing
It's
well.
Oh,
We're
so
like simultaneously the staff
so I
meetings
ran
going
a
on at the
deal
same
with
time,
Douglas
so I'm
County. I
jumping
got
back and
mad. I
forth.
went,
Okay, but it's just two. Okay, three of us.
They're all coming. They're busy over in the other meeting chatting. We'll be there in just a second.
Okay. No rush, no rush.
How's Neb tonight? Can you hear me?
Yes, but I'm confused as to why you were on the big screen. Like I have all the little screens, then I have big old buddy Doug.
The same question I have for you. You're on my big screen and
I think Kyle must not have taken over.
Hi,
He probably
everybody.
wants to, like take over as the.
oh, there's the man. Okay,
All
gotcha.
right.
Good evening. Yeah, as Dallas just popped into, we were busy talking crap to each other in the state call. So
Oh, who was winning?
There's like
The
five
crap talk.
people
That's
on
my
this
favorite
call.
one. I'm not
we're
very
talking about
fast.
tax evasion. It's all about tax evasion.
That makes
Well,
sense.
tax evasion's a little strong, Kyle. It's more like I just only want to pay my fair share.
Nice.
That's fair. I got it. I hear you.
State of Kansas trying to do me dirty.
Yeah, we're pretty light on attendance at the moment. We might give it a few more minutes before we kick this puppy off.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day for a bike ride. I reckon everybody's
Yes,
on
it
their bike.
is.
It is.
That was-
It'll fill up, I reckon.
Yeah, let
As
me
long as the
brag while
weekend
we're
weather
waiting.
stays nice, that's all I care.
Let me brag on something a little while we were waiting. Somebody locally here that used to be a bike mechanic was selling his entire tool set, including like 20, 30 park tools for $300. And somebody that knows him reached out. He sold us the whole setup for $250. And he came like with a big shop toolbox. So we sold the shop toolbox for $100 and we bought like the portable, one of those like Craftsman Versatrack. And we're in it for a complete team tool set for like $350 with a portable toolboxes. I think we got every tool we need, including a bike stand, including a box of spare parts, including like extra tubes, cleats, tapes.
Do you call
name
just? Is this why I had to get on this call so you can brag to us about?
Dallas, I can't brag about going fast. So this, and I can't brag about tax evasion apparently. So this is the best I got.
I don't know. I know nothing.
Sleep good tonight, Neb.
What's that? We just got really lucky. It was really cool.
Wait, really?
It's like hitting the lottery.
Yeah, I mean that had to be $1,000 worth of tools. Easy.
Didn't happen to have a headset threader and some of that kind of stuff in it, did it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, John might buy that from
What
you.
would that be something you'd be interested in parting with?
I mean, I'll send you photos. I mean, it was a complete tool set. It had a headset threader. You're talking like the
Like a headset press.
well,
No,
I mean, there's like a big threaded with like washers that press it on from top and bottom. Is that what you're thinking of?
You want to keep that because you might need to change a headset, but I'm talking about, it'd be like a cap and die set for cutting threads on the quill type headset.
Well, I'm not sure of that, but I tell you what, John, I'm gonna bring the whole tool set at the Wilson Lake, and you can look at it and you can tell me in your opinion how well we did. But I was really excited. I mean, we just got really
I
lucky.
kind of know without looking that you kind of stole it. You didn't even have to use a mask and a gun.
Yeah, pretty much. This guy knew what he was doing. He knew he was doing us a favor. He knew it, so we got lucky.
Medium-sized chat. Yeah.
Okay, so in the Raptors are getting bikes ready for a big weekend, so we're gonna be in and out. Well, we'll be listening, but we'll be engaged. That's what John and I are up to.
All right, I've got 7:05, so let's kick this off and we'll have other people jump in as they can. A few things to cover tonight. I'm sure Dallas and possibly Sarah will go over race details. We'll talk logistics, give a few reminders to new riders, new racers who haven't done this before, what we need to talk to them about. Dallas, you want to start off or?
No, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, nice. Sweet.
Well, no, I'm gonna let you go, and if anybody's got any questions for me, I'll answer.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be plenty.
Has everyone gotten a copy of the race flyer?
It tasted good
Came out
still.
like over a week ago. Okay, good, perfect. Any issues, any questions from that? Make sure you come up on the net as the meeting continues. Remember that we're in a remote
have you seen this
location
Hey,
this weekend.
Just a second here. Hey, Kyle, will you mute your phone real quick?
No. And then there's
File
an
number two,
egg, which
talking to
one
you.
pooped a golden egg, and I was so happy.
Can you mute it there, Coach Jensen?
Let me see what I can do. Yes, bam, got him.
There
Okay,
you go.
all right. Remember, we're in a
Kids
remote
got
location. Okay, so make sure that you are planning for your team's water supplies. You're planning on carrying food in with you. There are gas stations, but they're not close to the lake necessarily. We have people camping. It's going to be high winds. So if you've got tentage that people are using, make sure that they are understanding that their tent might want to blow away, including team tents in the pit zone. All right, so make sure you're carrying in what you're going to need, carrying it back out when you're done with the weekend. Don't trash the park so we can continue to use it from this point on. Latrines or bathrooms for other folks. Catching the tail part of the conversation from the staff meeting, said it's probably what, a quarter mile from the pit zone is where we're looking at for
Yes.
Yeah, there's bathrooms by the trailhead itself, which isn't going to be far from pit zone. So
Okay, and then we're not bringing any portable toilets in or anything. It's just the actual like hard stands, right?
Yes.
So just hard stand toilets. So make sure that your folks are prepared for that. Where else?
Yeah, make a comment to that. So there's 4 close, and there's like only 4 holes that's close. It's a really nice one with showers, but it's only a 4 place. The other one's the other way. Yeah, I don't know, a couple hundred yards or whatever, and it's like has a lot more capacity. A question about water. Will they have water on? Like that region doesn't really have water. I know you said bring it in, bring it out. There is a hydrant. They close them in the winter. I don't know, Dallas or Sarah, did they say what they
so
have
they
a hydrant?
said, yeah, they said the switchgrass ones are open. Or the I know the restrooms are. Some of them they haven't opened yet because of the freeze thaw still. So I would be prepared to have water available for the weekend.
So
Unless he does.
okay, yeah. So to that point, so okay, good enough. I think the one right there at Switchgrass is like kind of all weather. Like I'm sure it's open, but again, it's only
Yeah.
4 places.
Yeah, that one is open. He told me that today.
Mhm.
Okay. For team directors and coaches, make sure you get into the pit zone tonight and make sure you double check that all your folks are registered for the races. There's been a few folks the last few days that are registered for the league, but not registered for the events yet. And we need to make sure that they're registered for the events prior to going into the actual racing. Another logistics point for anybody that's staying in the cabins at the lake, make sure that they're aware they need to bring bedding with them. The cabins don't have bedding for them, so make sure they're bringing what they're going to need to comfortably stay there while they're camping out this weekend. Other than that, like we can kick it to questions and see whatever anybody else needs. I would just remind everyone that you're gonna have a lot of new racers this year. So it's easy for folks who've been doing this for 3 years now to get complacent and be like, my racers know what's going on. They're gonna bring what they need. And then a new kid could show up missing half their equipment because, you know, we fail to take the time to like remind them everything they need and kind of hold their hands until they get the first couple races under their belt. So I'll kick it to the field. What questions do we have going into the weekend?
Everybody understand weather looks good right now, but it could be a little windy. By a little, Doug, is that a lot? You're a farmer, you know the weather.
Honestly, I haven't even looked. I see the temperatures are good, but I didn't even look at the winds. What's the forecast for the wind?
So we got us a legit weather person. Not that the one before was not, but we actually got a pretty solid group here that's helping us out. So let's see. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds. So on April 2nd, temperatures look to rebound nicely over a overnight low of 45 degrees, nearing 56 at start at 9:30. 10 to 15 mile an hour wind.
Nothing. That won't be in effect at all. Like that won't be a problem at all. So
At Wilson, that's calm.
yeah,
Perfect.
great weather. So Sarah and Dallas, did they give you any indication about how they were going to handle? I know everybody needs a pass. There was some question about like tent camping or extra cars, or it seems like the course is going to cross that main road going down. Can you help us understand what that might look like?
So just as a reminder, generally speaking, we don't handle any of the camping stuff with the exception of on your property, Gilhousen's property, and Gun Park. The state, because of the way the state handles the permitting and the camping, that I know there were some questions about camping around the campers, and I would say reach out to the state or check the website, Camp It website, because I do believe it actually talks about a number of tents allowed in your area where your RV's at. Then as far as the primitive camping, again, I don't know the rules around what they charge for primitive camping. We didn't take any of that on because they said it would be too big of a hassle. The only thing we're going to ask is that we don't set up any tents inside of obviously the pit zone or anywhere on course. And Sarah could speak more to that because it does go past that.
There is a small road crossing into the trail, the switch, the trailhead. We're gonna have it marked with people. It's not gonna be a heavy trafficked area. It's gonna be very obvious that there's an event going on. So we feel like with volunteers, we can handle that one road crossing that we'll have.
So you will allow traffic in and out of there.
Absolutely. Yep.
Outside of pre-rides and race course. Or okay.
Absolutely. It'll be marked by volunteers and race staff to make sure that we're as safe as possible.
But maybe to that point, like during those pre-rides and race, again, there'll be a lot of people on the other side of that course. You will allow traffic back and forth during the race and pre-ride.
Yep, I have two volunteers scheduled to stay there to direct traffic and cyclists and bikers. So
okay, super.
Quick reminder about pit zone, like no booze, no generators, no grills, so no open flame, and no caffeine for anybody but parents / coaches. Kids can't have caffeine in the gels. Kids can't have power energy drinks, like any of that stuff. It's got to stay out of the pit zone.
No dogs. I've already entertained a protest, active protest around dogs, and she's still protesting about the no dogs thing. Nan told me
no dogs.
I believe she actually told me I sucked.
And we'll have it marked again, but remember, no riding through pit zone. We will have that area designated and marked where kids need to walk their bikes through there.
And Dallas, just to confirm, no dogs in a pit zone, correct?
No dogs in the pit zone or race area.
What's race area?
Race area.
Okay.
So here's what I would say. Pit zone, no dogs in the pit zone, no dogs, well, obviously on course, right? That would be an issue. Or where they could get onto the course, right? So anywhere we're gonna have kids riding bikes, no dogs. It
Probably
does
better
say
for
race
spectators
area.
not to drag their dog around the course looking at kids racing because the dog could get loose and get in there and take it.
Correct. Mhm. And listen, the reason for that is really legal reasons, right? It's a lot of people, it's a lot of commotion, it's a lot of opportunity for somebody to get excited and bite somebody else. Shit, maybe a kid bites the dog, I don't know. But let's make sure we don't have that happen. Oh, this is recorded, isn't it? Oh, I just saw the look on Casey's face. It was like
We can edit that part. Okay. What does, just curious, what does Friday look like? A few of us are gonna be down there a little early to help with some things. We as well as the Hutch group were there a couple weeks ago. There are some things, I think I talked to you, Dallas, we're gonna bring some saws. What can we do to help
so
specifically?
Friday looks sunny and very nice outside. I plan on enjoying my leisurely drive out there in my giant van. We actually have some folks showing up a little bit earlier. We will try and get the bulk of the course set up on Friday. We're not going to prioritize trimming the course right out of the gate. What we will prioritize is getting everything laid out the way we want it laid out, the way Sarah wants it laid out. So we got to get there first. And then we need to lay it out and walk through it. Once we've laid it out and walked through it and decided exactly what it is that Sarah feels like needs to be trimmed off the course, then we will take volunteers to do manual labor and help with clearing the course. But really, you got to let us get there first and then let us kind of catch our breath and take the lay of the land. We are all planning on leaving out early in the morning. I feel like, how far is that drive to the Abyss?
30 minutes.
Okay, yeah. All right. Well, I'll throw out my kite and let it pull me. And never comes out of the east there, does it?
So, and kind of, this is official because it's recorded, and I hadn't volunteered it otherwise. People that want to like park campers, a couple have asked me privately about like bringing stuff from Wilson up here. They're more than welcome. If you have a recommendation to how I should make that offer, does it matter or do you care?
Doug, it's your property. If you want everybody up there right after Wilson, then it's recorded now. Doug Palin says, please bring all of your campers to my property on Sunday.
That's fine. It's $100 a day, so it don't matter, whatever, you know. I'm just
right. And then Doug, as far as trail maintenance goes, you know, we never discourage trail maintenance at any point in time ever. And so like if you guys got out there at like 4 a.m. on Friday and just started trail maintenance and it happened to be the trail that we use, then we would never tell you shame on you. We just won't be making decisions on what to trim for the course until after we get it laid out.
Sure, appreciate that. Thank you. You bet. I will send a message on our social media thing. Yeah, I mean, if people, yeah, okay, with regards to bringing stuff up here, if people want to like not pull their campers all the way back and park them up here, I'm fine with that. So
that is very kind of you.
Again, and no charge.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dallas, did we ever figure out, I know we've talked about this 2 meetings ago, we briefly discussed the fact that in pit zone, we cannot, so if somebody had selected an event, this event or the following one, we thought we had the ability to uncheck it, but I think we determined that not even head coaches or team directors could uncheck it. For example, I have one kid that is still not past concussion protocol, and he's seeing another doctor on Friday night, and they may clear him Friday night. So I have him registered, but I just want to be able to let you know ahead of time. Like if I find out last minute he's not showing up, can I uncheck him or should I just shoot
So
you?
we-
an email?
We
figure
talked
anything
about
out
this
there?
in the last meeting that we just had, Neb. All you have to do is on Saturday, when you come in and sign in and pull your packets, just
Just let 'em
line them
know.
off the list at that point at the registration table and be like, hey, they're not riding because of whatever reason. And
Of course, we discussed this one meeting I missed. Thank you. Thanks, Cal.
Oh,
Got it.
no, we weren't on that one yet. It was before this one. You
Oh,
actually
I
got
thought
that
I
part
actually
right.
missed last meet.
But I did catch that
last
you were
meeting, so I
talking
thought I got
about
lucky.
concussion protocol. You are filling out the proper paperwork and sending it to Nike.
Yeah. We
Okay,
did
so
everything.
as a reminder, probably a note we need to send out to all of our team directors. We are not at 100% for our weekly send-off thing. I noticed our coach coordinator is laughing, which means he must be
my
one
bad, Dallas. My bad.
who's not there, but that's okay. And then Neb, did I hear that there was maybe some concussion evasion going on?
Evasion?
Yeah.
What does
You say
that mean?
you're getting a second opinion?
Yeah, he went to a regular
Doug caught it.
pediatrician.
Doug's laughing, so Doug caught it.
No.
Go ahead,
I'm-
Neb. I'm with you.
I'm all serious about it because our kid got hurt. So
Yeah.
did I miss a joke? I mean, he
No,
went to a
you said
pediatrician.
he was going to another doctor, and I was ribbing you. Like, is he going to another doctor because of the prolonged thing, or
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to another doctor because they feel like they should be released? Sorry, I
The
should.
regular doctor has additional concerns, so now they're going to specialists to see. So it
Okay.
sounds like he really did get hurt.
Okay, yeah. Well, keep us posted on that.
Yeah.
that
Sorry,
is-
and if you joked and you didn't know it was serious, I missed it. I didn't follow what you said. But
No,
we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Poor joke. Poor joke.
Not at all.
All right. Anybody else?
We're just evading taxes here, not concussions.
But it's Casey is evading taxes.
That's a t-shirt if I've ever heard it before.
Yeah, for certain. Okay. Anyone else have questions? What you got, Sarah?
Well, I was just gonna remind coaches, hey, make sure everyone, when they're on course, these are just little nitpicky things. When you're on course with your athletes, everyone needs to have their race plate attached. That's coaches, that's athletes, that's any volunteers, staff, marshals, sweeps, anything like that. Anybody who's on the course needs to have a race plate on their bike identifying them. When we get to race day, remember that staging is athletes only. Make sure your athletes are set up and ready to go to enter staging. There's no parents, no coaches allowed in the staging area. We will make sure all athletes know where they are supposed to go. We will have the grid at registration. I will have one. I'm sure Dallas will have one. Casey will have one. So if there's questions on where athletes need to go, just make sure they come find us. But no parents, no coaches in the staging area. It just helps us get everyone ready to go quicker.
I would consider the area around the staging area a race area, no dogs. That was a question. And then Neb, you bring up a good point about the concussions in all seriousness. The last few years, we have had a really hard time with people wearing their helmets correctly. So here's the deal. We as a group need to make sure everybody has their helmets on the correct way, and that is down over their forehead, fitted properly, tightened so that they don't look like bobbleheads. We see a lot of helmets flapping. There is a provision and a rule about properly fitting helmets and having the helmets on. And what we don't want to have to do is pull people out of staging because they're not wearing their helmets correctly. So please make sure we talk to everybody about wearing them correctly. It really is about safety and making sure that our athletes, if they do wreck, are able to continue on.
Question on non-NICA time riding. Since it's not somebody's private land, or everybody's still allowed to ride pre and post NICA time.
Yep. Trails are open, so go explore. There's lots to ride out there. Just remember, especially with your student athletes, to kind of designate that NICA time and non-NICA time.
Mhm.
Once
And
we close for the day, we're done with NICA time.
yeah, and to that, be respectful of the course, right? tape will be up. And our expectation is that we're not running over tape, pulling tape over, cutting across the course to go a different direction and knocking tape over, right? We all know it takes a lot of work and it's a lot of tape that's out there. So be mindful of the course, or if we fail to do that in the future, we will just shut down the course, because what we're not going to do is repeat work.
So just to clarify, the actual course will be open after hours for riding.
Yeah, it is a public park. I can't close it down after NICA time. So if you guys want to keep riding, just make sure that your athletes know that this is a not NICA time. This is a, everyone still needs to be in helmets. I will yell at kids for not wearing helmets during non-NICA time, but just, be safe. And it is a public park. So.
It's more for this one. He's coming with this weekend and he wants to ride, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for certain.
And Sarah, what I've been telling my student athletes, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is we're gonna make progressively courses harder throughout the year. You're starting with the easiest. Is that still the plan? Is that how you think you have it laid out?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty accurate for this year.
Okay. I think that was a great idea. Good job.
I think the lap this at Wilson Lake is 3.5 miles, so it's a little longer than what we've done. I don't think it'll offer any extreme challenges for athletes. It's going to be a good place to start for this year.
20 and 70.
That poor kid's falling over from the heat. They're not going to be used to it yet.
Are
Right.
people also pretty comfortable with talking with their athletes about laps and times? Just because I put laps on there doesn't mean that they have to complete all of those laps to get a placement. I know we've been doing this for 3 years now. I just want to make sure everyone is familiar with how that works.
Yeah. And we did I thought a pretty solid job last year of just polling riders too, right? Like, hey, you're not gonna make it around. Go ahead and come on off, right? And not having to do the whole like you got to stage back by pit zone before you come through. Just go ahead and come through and pull off the course there.
And remind your athletes, just because I'm pulling them off doesn't mean that they're not going to get a place and they're not going to get a time. That's not because they've done something wrong. It's just we're getting close to our next race, and so it's not a punishment to get pulled off the course. So.
I have a question about during pre-ride, kind of what the expectations are about proximity of coaches to athletes during pre-ride. Like, I know that athletes aren't supposed to be out there by themselves. Seems like it's kind of a gray area. How would you like to enforce it? What is your expectations as a league with regards to?
Yeah, I kind of expect to be handled just like you would a practice. I don't know if different teams separate into maybe different groups as far as, obviously coaches need to be somewhat close to their athletes. I mean, I know they get ahead of you, and if, they get ahead of you, it happens. But, just so that they know that someone's around, or that there is someone that they're able to reach out to if they need help. I don't know if there is a hard and fast rule on proximity.
We're not going to get the tape measure out to see how far away from your athlete they are, but be mindful of it, right? I mean, I had to chase my kid down the gravel road today. No doubt, on trails, I will struggle to probably stay in very close proximity to him. But it's also a conversation with him as well, right? You need to make sure you stay with your group. This is pre-ride. This is not race. If you want to try things at race pace, then there's a different time, and we'll set that opportunity up. But I think for the most part, pre-ride, you got to remember there are a ton of people out on the trail all at once. Instead of just one category, it is all categories, and we need to be mindful and respectful of those of all of the athletes that are out there, right? So nobody's going to run around out there and be like, oh, they're not close enough. But please be respectful of the situation, right? Not, oh, well, I was on the trail somewhere.
I guess if I were to ask an athlete, I would like them to know where their group is or where their coach is. So if I stop them and like, hey, where's your coach? they can be like, oh, they're coming, or, you know.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how we work with so few coaches, Doug. It's like I'll lead the first pre-ride, and then everyone after that, I trail the team. And like if somebody gets in trouble, I'll be on them in a couple minutes at the like longest period of time. There's always other coaches out on the trail from other teams. So as long as we're all helping each other out and picking up slack, like
Yeah.
Just something that we did, one of our kids at one of the races last year was wanting to try some sections at a little more speed. And so, you know, he said, can I please go by myself? Nope, rules don't allow it. But I said, we can go at the back and I'll sweep. And when you come to that section, we can hang out a little bit. And then that way he could crank his speed up a little bit. I was right there with him. And we caught right back up to the rest of the group. That worked pretty well for, and of course that would be dependent on how many other kids there were there riding at the time. But that worked. It let him, you know, run that one little section at a little more speed. And we still had somebody with the kid, all the kids all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a solid idea. What else? Nothing? Are you guys excited? Neb, are you excited?
I'm stoked, man. I can't wait. You know, last night we were riding with some kids, and me and another coach were sitting there, and it was just a beautiful day, and we were watching kids right ahead of us. And I looked at him and I was like, man, I'm just so happy to be here right now. He's like, I know exactly what you mean. It's so freaking awesome. And then at the end of the practice, that kid that was right ahead of us, his 2-month-old cleats are no longer holding into the pedals. So we find a spare cleat, we put it on, and we're all going, how the hell, like 2 months, how did you wear out your cleats in 2 months? Well, turns out he was doing power slides on concrete to see how many sparks he can fly out of his cleats. So 2 months later, his cleats were no longer clipping into his pedals. And man, it just makes me happy. So I can't wait to see what we're going to break this weekend, or what's going to go wrong, or what kind of awesome stories we're going to come up with for next week, right?
Well, you got the toolkit, so whatever breaks, we can fix.
Yeah. Or we can chuck tools at it. I don't know that we're going to fix it, but we'll.
There we go.
Well, if you chuck tools at it, chuck them in the general direction of me, and I'll make sure that those get picked up.
All right. All right.
All right. Ethan, you guys ready?
Yep, we're ready. We're pretty excited. We've actually got a kid whose birthday is on Saturday. So half the team is going up Friday night and camping out early. So
Nice.
they'll be there all weekend. They're stoked.
Nice. Casey just finally got power back at his house. Saw the flash. That's awesome, Ethan. We'll be out there as well. So really excited about it. This one's a little bit closer for you guys too.
Yeah, this feels like our home trail almost. So nice.
Nice. I would tell you I did it special for you, but it's really just you guys don't get rain.
That is a plus.
Yeah,
Hurting for that rain.
sometimes, yeah.
Dallas, is it stressing you out that we don't have more questions?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, I feel like this group that's on here is you guys are well seasoned at this point. If you don't have it figured out, I'm probably more stressed that you don't have it figured out. I'm more stressed about whether or not I've got everything done that I was supposed to do. And thankfully, Sarah does a good job of keeping me on track, as does Casey. So.
And even if you all forgot something, we'll figure it out. We'll roll with it. That's what
right.
we're always doing, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Make sure you guys have plenty of drinking water, that you're prepared for Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be hot. Sunblock is going to be really important. Please make sure you got all the stuff you need for the kids. Marcy will be handling registration. So she's the one you guys will be getting with on Saturday. Please pay special note to the awesome folders that Sarah has put together for your teams. She has done an amazing job, way better than what you would have got from me. And don't forget to tell Marcy which riders are not riding. That is important. Let us know which riders are not riding. There will be a starting grid there for you to look at, and you can just mark them off the starting grid.
How's the volunteer group coming together? Do we need to beat the bushes again, or what's that look
Yes.
like?
Please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, please, please. We need
Yeah.
volunteers. We're only about 50% for both days.
Yep.
And that's the only way this actually works. I mean, Dallas and Casey and and everyone does a lot of work, but seriously, the only way that race days actually work is because of volunteers. I need that person to, stop traffic as those kids cross the road. I need people out on that far end of the course to make sure everyone's okay. So, please, please, please encourage parents, first timers. Hey, it's not hard. It's fun. We'll take anybody, and we really appreciate it. So
Yeah, we're at about 50%, I think, for both days right now. So we could definitely use some help.
Hey, Dallas, do you have the numbers by category right now available?
I can look them up here real quick. Yep, give me just a second. We are at 156 riders currently, if anybody was asking and keeping track. Let me pull this up right now. So we have 3 varsity girls. Let's see. We have, if I can get this to work. Should have pulled this for you earlier. Sorry. We have 16 JV boys. We have, my computer's moving fast today, 5 JV girls. We have 4 freshman girls. And we have 17 freshman boys. I skipped over sophomore. Sorry, let me look here. 3 sophomore girls. We 8 sophomore boys. Let's see here. There are 10 8th grade girls. $14 8th grade boys. Computer sounds like a rocket. 8 7th grade girls. 28 7th grade boys.
Am I on mute or could you hear me laughing?
No, heard you laughing. 6 6th grade girls. And 24 6th grade boys. So as you can tell, some pretty big fields, which I am really, really excited about. And they're at the growth stage, right? Like this is the new ones that are coming in, not leaving in the next year or two. So real excited about it. And shout out to a couple of the teams here. I actually had a list together. I think I probably don't still have it on me, but we had a couple of teams really get after it here towards the end of the year, or end of what I not end of the year, end of what I would consider kind of registration. Sunflower brought on 6 additional athletes after that first sign on, to get your name on the nameplate. They actually pulled in 6 more, and most of them were like 6th and 7th grade riders. Lewisburg also did about the same. So 2 teams that I would say in the past had a smaller number of riders, and Lawrence specifically Didn't have very many, middle school at that, has really picked up the ball, and quite a few middle school riders brought over on that team. Last check, I think we have a few teams setting at about 26 to 30 riders. So that's really, really impressive numbers. So like I said earlier today, we hit 156 riders registered total.
How many
Last year,
coaches? Just in case.
a lot of coaches. Let me look so I can tell you. I'll just pull the historical information here real quick so I can give it to you. So just real quick, we're at 156 riders. That's up 18%. We were at 132 last year at this time. We have 52 new male riders, 15 new female riders, and 89 of our riders are returning, which is up 59%. Number of registered coaches for this season is 97. That is up 9% from last year. Last year we were at 89. We actually have picked up 6 new female coaches, which feels really good. So right now we have 66 returning coaches, all in total, 20 female returning coaches. That is 100%. That's 100% increase. So we doubled our returning coaches, female coaches, over the last 2 years, which is really, really impressive, as everybody knows that is integral to growing this league and really supporting our young female riders. So I'm really, really excited to see that. And we picked up 25 new male coaches and 6 new female coaches this year. So pretty impressive numbers altogether. We almost, we're going to be at a 1-to-1 ratio of coaches to student athletes before it's over with. So
I think that's amazing. 97 coaches for 156 riders. I'd be curious how that compares to other states. Is there conversation around that or not?
No, I haven't had a whole lot of conversation around that with anyone. So I can't tell you.
That's great.
Yeah, what that looks like, but pretty impressive altogether.
Hey, Dallas, I was going to let my student athletes know how many people they have in a group, so I appreciate you sharing those numbers for now. Did I miss varsity boys, or is that what we've talked about? There's no varsity boys until after the race.
Yep. So just as a reminder, we currently have no varsity boys. There's no boys varsity field. We're going to go back to the results following Wilson. And if we see a clear, definitive line between the competition, we will make a decision then to offer the opportunity for them to move into a different category. At no point would we ever force a rider to move up a category without them feeling like they were ready to. But we do feel like, based off of what we saw last year, there was an opportunity to move riders forward. However, given our current rules and the way that they're written, none of our riders actually met the criteria for upgrading to varsity. Jack Tell will not be here. Liam Ellis is not racing this year. So those were our I think those were our top 1, 2, and then the rest of the riders were behind them. So we did talk with those coaches of the other riders and just said, hey, this is what we think presents the best opportunity for the young riders who want to transition to a varsity position. We think varsity is important for the league. We truly believe that. It gives the young riders something to look forward to as far as their progression upward. And then it also helps, as Kyle pointed out earlier, as some of these athletes begin to look to college and seek opportunities to continue to race bikes at a college level and beyond. Really need that varsity the opportunity for them for the competition. Which means that we will be extra busy over that break, making sure we have that lined up correctly for Doug's place.
Awesome. So it's 7:45 right now. Do we have any more questions? possibly the quickest pre-race meeting of all time. I like it. All right. With that being said, everybody get after it, and we'll see you this weekend.
Don't
Thanks very
forget,
much. We'll see you.
don't forget registration closes at midnight tonight.
Yes.
And
Midnight.
Casey, you and I need to have some email traffic about how I get the videos transferred over because I can't post them on the Kansas site for some reason.
Okay.
Don't forget to edit. Just joking. Just joking.
I'll snip
See
in
y'all.
the tax law. Just throw it in there as like.
See ya.
Thanks, staff. Appreciate all your hard work. Excited about a weekend. We'll see you at Wilson.